Hey everybody, welcome back to another feedback session. Today we have a piece from Mohammed from the Discord. So first off, he asked if, I thought that this was something worth continuing or if he should move on to another project. Um, I mean, obviously it's something we always struggle with these personal pieces. It's, whether this is worth continuing or not. I mean, I think if this is a story in this image that you want to tell, definitely. Um, it's definitely worth continuing. I will say, depending on the purpose of this image, um, an image like this, I think for a lot of modern animation, um, just talking, cartoons, animation, feature animation, I think a lot of them don't go this dark. It's hard to find animation that goes this dark. I wish it did, but a lot of them don't go this contrasty. So, just keep in mind if you're putting this in a reel for a studio big animation studios, it might not benefit you as much as, a nice, like a brighter scene. But I think it's certainly like a striking image, and definitely for games and, for um, previs and postvis and stuff like that. VFX, I think this is certainly, could be a cool piece. Um, so let me just talk a little bit about what I think, you could do in the image to kind of bring it closer to the reference as well as tell your story better. Um, well, first of all, I think, what you've done is great. It's very striking. Um, what I would want to know, and, this is um, your decision, but what is the story you're trying to tell here, right? Because in this photo, in this reference, I think it's Brie Larson. It looks like Brie Larson. Um, I can clearly tell that she is scared, and I think it's because of these wide eyes. You can kind of make out the expression in her face, and the lighting scenario is really kind of accentuating that fear that she has. Here, I think partially because the expression is so neutral, and we're framed a little bit further back. It's a little bit ambiguous what the character is going through, what the story is here. So I think maybe that's something you know you should at least have in your mind what you think, and then all your decisions need to inform that story, right? Because in the end, lighting pretty pictures, I think I mean, it's fine, but I think we all got into this to tell stories, and the story, everything should serve the story. So that's the first thing. I think making clear what that story is for this image. It's a still image. You only have one picture to tell everything, so you really need to support that. Um, so I think what can help with that is maybe if you are going for this sort of fearful, horror-y sort of feel, if you wanted to match this reference a little more, you might want to move the character closer to camera, um, really accentuate that eye. And if your story is about her seeing something, outside of a crevice or wherever she is, um, I think you would want to move this hair out of her eye because right now it's kind of blocking. So I'm not really sure what the focal point is. Um, the other thing with images like these, and I love images like these. It's so striking and so punchy. Um, I think when it comes to this kind of stuff where it's kind of you're seeing minimal things and it's very high contrast, I think your materials will really play a big part in this because look how much detail we're getting. We're not seeing that much of this image, but we're getting a lot of detail from um, obviously it's real life, but we would get a lot of detail from X-Gen hair or like um, texturing on the face and on the eye especially, that I think it's going to be a little bit difficult if you have kind of a lower poly model, a lower detail model like this to sort of sell the full extent of the image. You can certainly do it, but I think it might help you if you wanted to investigate some of your materials more. One thing, if you're able to move this hair out of the eye, I would say we do this a lot, everywhere I've been actually, to really try to get this eye speck light in there. This really helps bring it to life. And it makes sense, the light's coming in and hitting her eye. So I would say whatever you can do to get that in there will really help bring life to your character. You can kind of see, like, let's see what happens if I erase it. It still looks, she still looks like Brie Larson, but I think she loses a lot of life. And I think, the eye spec light is doing a lot here, especially because this is the only thing that, you're really supposed to be honed in on this eye. So getting that, just wanted to point a few more things out about this top image. You can kind of see, looks like there's two sort of rim lights coming from behind her, out this way, and what's happening is that it's catching these planes this way and coming from this way. It's catching these planes of the face and really bringing out, little points that, planes of the face that are accentuated by that rim light, and it really gives a nice, like, detail to the rest of the image, so you know what you're looking at, right? You can imagine, if this was all dark, if you didn't have a light back there, it would be just a disembodied eye, right? So I think it could be cool to sort of play with that in your image, a different source of light coming maybe from the back or from wherever, to kind of catch planes of the face, and then maybe you could even go darker, on these transition zones. I think, there's a lot of ways that people have played this sort of high contrast dark image that, they all work. It's just depending on what you want to tell with your story. I do think one thing in your piece that, I've been seeing a lot is the depth of field. I think it's just too shallow. It looks like it falls off too quickly compared to here, and compared to a real camera. So I think it makes her look a little bit miniature. So you might want to play with that, and having these nice hits in the background of, like, random whatever this is, she's in a closet or something, really helps to kind of place her in an environment. So something like that might help if you were to place stuff back here and kind of hit that very softly with light. I think you really don't want to pull away from the focal point of the image, and I think the reason this is working is because not only is this a value, maybe the brightest spot, highest contrast spot in the image, it's also warm, pulling forward against the cool background, and you kind of have that here. So I think maintaining what you have and maybe putting a little more interest in the background, just a little bit, to make the image not so barren, I think would help. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is a great start, but I think this sort of thing, in my opinion, will really benefit from material work and real hair, and not real hair, but X-Gen hair, and better surfacing. So that might be something you want to look into. And yeah, I mean, with all that being said, if this is what you want to, if this is the image that you want to pursue and the story that you want to tell, I would say, of course, keep working on it and keep pushing on this. If not, then feel free to move on to something else. It's up to you. But great job so far. I think stuff like this, there's less to look at, but it doesn't mean it's easier. I think it's harder, actually, to sort of really make this image pop the way that this one does. So you've done a good job. I think keep going if you want to, I'm looking forward to seeing progress. Thank you.